Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment as finally the trade has gone down. The Los Angeles Lakers have traded for power forward slash center Anthony Davis. Now I am a Los Angeles Laker fan, and as you can tell by my pearly whites that have the sun shining down on them right now, I am a happy man indeed. Anthony Davis will be in an LA uniform next season. And real quick, let me just give a round of applause to that. I am thrilled by this trade. Now, this is one of those scenarios where initially, and there's going to be two takes from this trade, as there is for any trade or any major move in the NBA. There's going to be the initial take, right, what we initially believe from the trade, what we initially see, analyze, take in, and then what ends up being true long-term in the future when these players progress, when they degress or regress some of them, right? There's going to be the short-term and the long-term. So, in terms of today, I think it's a win for both teams. We're going to discuss both teams today, but we're going to start with the Lakers today. And I'm sorry, I know people hate Lakers coverage. I understand. As someone that's a fan of a very, very small market team in terms of the NFL, the Tennessee Titans, I hate teams like the Dallas Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers that always get the media coverage. But then it's an interesting flip in the NBA. I love one of those teams in the LA Lakers. So I understand your gripes, but that's where we have to start. Now, yes, the Lakers gave up a lot for Anthony Davis. And I said, whenever they were having these negotiations, it's actually not a one-to-one trade here in terms of pure value to me. But because they held on to Kyle Kuzma, I feel really good about this trade. If they would have given up Kuzma as well as Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, and those 3 first-round picks, we'd have a problem. So the official trade, okay, just in case you can't read down below, just in case you haven't heard already, the Lakers have traded Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, their number 4 pick in this 2019 NBA draft, and 2 additional first-round picks. We don't know the years of those picks yet, but 2 additional first-round picks in exchange for Anthony Davis. Those are all the details that I know right now. Maybe Solomon Hill or someone else might be thrown into this trade, but as of right now, that's all that we know. Now, if Kyle Kuzma would have been added to that mix, it would have been too much. Because to me, you're looking at the number 4 pick, whom I believe should be Darius Garland. And Darius Garland is going to be at least an 18-point-per-game guy in the NBA. But I'd even say 20, 21, 22. He reminds me a lot of D'Angelo Russell coming out. I think Russell was farther on coming out. But I really love Garland. I think he's going to be an all-star type point guard, especially if he goes to the East. Even the West. Now the West is looking a lot better in terms of even point guards being able to make the all-star team over there. So I'm a huge fan of Darius Garland. You're talking about a 20-plus point per game score right there. Brandon Ingram averaged 18 last year. He's going to end up being 20-plus soon. I'll even say next year, especially now that he's going to New Orleans. Lonzo Ball, who I don't love, but, still a starter in this league at least. And Kyle Kuzma, who is, again, he averaged 18 himself this year. He's going to average 20-plus. In the future, but now teaming with Anthony Davis and LeBron James, he probably won't. But he definitely can for a lot of teams in the NBA. So 3 20-plus point per game scores for Anthony Davis, that's too much. That's too much. But because they kept on to Kyle Kuzma, and because they still have now the new trio, the new trinity of Kuzma, LeBron, and Anthony Davis, with Kuzma being a distant number 3 there, don't get me wrong, I love this trade for the Lakers. And in also looking at the NBA Finals, okay, this is really why I love this trade. This is the largest reason. Looking at the damage that has now been done to the Golden State Warriors, this league is wide open. It's open. It's time. Who wants the chip? The 2020 NBA title will be decided in the upcoming weeks. Make no doubt about it. Now, we're going to go through the regular season, and that will matter as well as next year's playoffs. But it is time to position your team forward. It is time to strategize. It is time to unite. It is time to figure out a plan and execute right now. The 2020 NBA titles being cited today. And not only the 2020 NBA title, but years to come. The Warriors dynasty is done. Now, when Klay Thompson comes back, next year, March or April, they might be doing something in the playoffs, but they're no longer the formidable, we can't beat this team dynasty that they were in the past. Who's gonna be the next one? Who's gonna be that next dynasty? Remember, there won't be a next dynasty, but who is going to step up to the plate? And the Lakers have that opportunity. And you look at the Western Conference right now. The Denver Nuggets, to me, will be number one in the Western Conference next year, most likely. Now, I'm still looking out for the Houston Rockets. I'm still looking out for the Portland Trail Blazers. And we're going to see what moves they make in the upcoming weeks. But the Denver Nuggets should have the best record. They were the number 2 seed in the Western Conference last year. Not by much. They were like a game ahead of Portland. But, they're a young team. Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, they're going to continue to improve. They should be the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. Even with the Lakers getting Anthony Davis and LeBron James, I still expect them to be better in the regular season than these LA Lakers. Then it could be, and the thing is with the Lakers, we're going to see what kind of team that they build. But then it could be the Lakers right there. But Portland, and look out for OKC. I think OKC will win more regular season games. And we have to see what the Spurs do and everything like that. But people, the duo of LeBron James and Anthony Davis, I just think they're gonna run through these people in the Western Conference. I don't think Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic stand a chance against LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I just don't, assuming that they're healthy. And I know that's all they got. They got Kuzma, they got Davis, and they got LeBron, and that's it. But they also got $30 million of cap room. They got $30 million of cap room remaining. And I just don't see how Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum are going to beat Anthony Davis and LeBron James. I just don't see that. I really, really don't see. If someone can convince me of that, I'd love to hear it. Now, the Rockets and their three-point shooting, that's the biggest threat. Right? If the Rockets run it back with Chris Paul and James Harden, and they get a couple more three-point shooters in there, they're very dangerous. And I look out for them. But Chris Paul apparently wants out right now. And if they trade him, they're not going to get someone that's equivalent to Chris Paul in terms of their system. To me, we'll see. But it just depends. So, right now, if someone can tell me, I'd love to hear it. Who is going to stop Anthony Davis and LeBron? They're going to bully everyone in this Western Conference. Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum? That's what we're talking. Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic? They're not stopping these two. I know there's a roster to be filled. I understand that. But this is just as it was when the Miami Heat formed in 2011. Yes, there was a roster to be formed, and they just scratched, and they got Shane Battier and Mike Miller. I'm not sure if he was there yet, but Mike Miller, and then eventually Ray Allen, and they just scraped together a bunch of pieces, and they lost that first year. I understand. But I just don't see. And Kyle Kuzma's still there. So with Kuzma, Davis, and LeBron, averaging 70 points a night. Right there, that's about 70 points a night, at least 60. Right? But that should be 70, even getting up to 80 points a night, really. But yeah, about 70 points a night. You can't find another 30 to 40 points. Really, 40 points in today's NBA, you need to average like 1 out of 10 a game. You can't find another 40 points. Just go sign J.J. Redick. They don't even need Kemba Walker, right? They're looking at Kemba Walker, and I'm all for that. They don't even need Kemba Walker, honestly, to me, but go get him. If Kemba Walker wants to join in, if Jimmy Butler wants to join in, come on and join the party. Kyrie Irving, let's talk. How are you doing? But I just don't see the duo. I think it's just too powerful a duo in this Western Conference right now. Now, when now let's say they go to the NBA Finals. Let's say they face the Philadelphia 76ers, who right now I think are by far, in a way, the best team in the Eastern Conference next season. I know the Boston Celtics will return to being their Kyrie Irving-less team and a very dangerous team at that. I don't think they'll be able to beat the Sixers next year as constructed. And the Sixers have some work to do as well. They have to re-sign Tobias Harris. They probably have to re-sign Jimmy Butler. But right now, I'm in on the Sixers. But the Milwaukee Bucks are losing players. I still think Kawhi Leonard is going to the LA Clippers. I don't think he's re-signing with Toronto despite having won a championship there. It's ridiculous to me. I think he should stay in Toronto. But I think that he's gone. So Toronto is going to move down. You know, the NBA next year is wide open. The talent level required to win next year's championship is going to be the lowest amount of talent required to win an NBA championship in the past 5 years, 6 years. There will not have been a weaker NBA champion in 6 years, right? The NBA champion of this upcoming season will probably be the weakest NBA champion we've seen since before Golden State. It'll be a team that is no more talented than that 2014 San Antonio Spurs team, no more talented than that 2013 Miami Heat team a year before them. I don't think there's a lot required to win the championship next season. And with this now trio, really the main duo, the dynamic duo of LeBron James and Anthony Davis, with Kyle Kuzma as their Robin, right? You have Batman and you got Superman with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. You got Robin and Kyle Kuzma. That's a good trio. And we still got $30 million of cap room. We can still afford a Kemba Walker. We can still afford a Jimmy Butler. And I know apparently and reportedly they're not looking to come to LA right now. Well, things are about to change. And even if they don't, I don't care right now. I really don't care. I just think that this duo is enough, especially with Robin and Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma is your Robin. That's a good Robin. So I'm elated. I'm a Laker fan. I'm elated. I know they have a roster to construct. I understand that. And I don't think they're going to be the best team in the regular season next year. I think they're still going to have their struggles in the regular season next year. But I just don't see how these duos of, these superstars of Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, or DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge, or Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum are going to beat LeBron James and Anthony Davis if they're healthy. And that's the question here. And let me preface, and it's probably too late for a preface at this point. We've been going for 12 minutes. But let me, add that as a asterisk, to this. Because Anthony Davis has had his injury concerns. LeBron James, his body is now finally starting to break down. Oh, my God. So we are assuming health, people. That's a big assumption here. So you can quote me as long as they're healthy. But I just don't see that. If you see that, hey, go ahead, do your thing. We're going to see here. But, wow, that's why I'm in love with this trade for the LA Lakers. They're going to have work to do. I don't love their coaching staff. I think it's a mess. They just got Lionel Hollins to come on and be their assistant head coach, in addition to Jason Kidd and Frank Vogel's the head coach. The head coach is Frank Vogel, and you have this Jason Kidd and this Lionel Hollins as assistant coaches. It's too much. It's too much. That could be disastrous, but I just think this LeBron James and Anthony Davis mix right now is too dangerous in this league. A league where Golden State ain't going to be competing next year for nothing. I mean, with Klay Thompson might come back, and if they're in the playoffs, I'll still consider them a threat. Make no doubt about it. They'll be a threat. But right now, I'm happy. I'm happy as an LA Laker fan. Now let's move to New Orleans. Okay, we'll get to New Orleans and then we'll move on to your comments. So for New Orleans, I am going to actually watch New Orleans a lot, and I'm going to support New Orleans. I'm a big fan of Brandon Ingram. I had been since he was drafted, and I'm already a big fan of Zion Williamson. Such a humble kid, a young talent in this league. I want to see New Orleans succeed. I really do. I want to be tuning into New Orleans. I don't like to claim a second favorite team, but honestly, New Orleans is probably going to be my second favorite team, for the next era with Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson, because I love these kids. I mean, I really do. I mean, as a Laker fan, I was Mr. Brandon Ingram fan and stan, and I'm going to miss him, and he's going to thrive, and I think he's going to end up being an all-star in this league. Brandon Ingram, he was coming on. Oh my God, he was coming on before he had his blood clot issues. He was averaging like 27 points per game after the All-Star break. He's going to continue to do that in New Orleans, not averaging 27 for the entire season, but next season, I'm telling you. Now, Drew Holiday is next to him, so Drew Holiday is going to take some scoring, and they might flip that number 4 pick or a couple picks for another, scorer like Bradley Beal or something. But Let's imagine it's just Drew Holiday, Brandon Ingram, and maybe they stick with a draft pick, whatever. I think Brandon Ingram's going to give you 21, 22 points per game next season. I think you're going to say, okay, we really have something here. And even on a team with Zion Williamson, I think you might say Brandon Ingram might be our leading scorer. I'll say that. I won't say better player. I think you always will say Zion Williamson's a better player than Brandon Ingram. But remember this past year how RJ Barrett would, normally have to actually take the ball in isolation and give Duke, clutch baskets and things of that manner and be that isolation guy. Brandon Ingram would have to be that guy because Zion, he's going to have to learn that part of the game. He can't do that consistently yet, and maybe ever. I think he'll eventually learn how to do that, but, for right now he can't, right? He needs that isolation type guy, and Brandon Ingram's right there for you, right? And Drew Holiday's going to be there for you for the upcoming number of years as well, assuming he can stay healthy, and that's a huge injury concern for him. So I'm going to be watching New Orleans. I think it's going to be fun. Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, Drew Holiday. You're getting Josh Hart. You're getting Lonzo Ball. I think Lonzo Ball, Drew Holiday, I think that's a fine mix. I don't love it. But honestly, I don't love Lonzo Ball next to anyone that's not a pure shooting guard. And Drew Holiday, he's a combo guard. I mean, don't get me wrong. He can play the two. I just really prefer Lonzo Ball with a true shooting guard, but it works. I'm okay with it. It works well enough for me. LeVar Ball, by the way. LeVar Ball, shut up, you moron. And these people always... Some people actually believed into LeVar Ball and his nonsense. Well, you can go down to New Orleans. Hey, there's plenty of... I was in New Orleans over March, over spring break. There's plenty of LeVar Balls down there. You get them for your Uber driver. They just talk nothing but smack, nothing but mess. He's going to fit right into New Orleans. He's going to get himself some gumbo, some fried chicken. That's where you're going to be living. You going straight to New Orleans, and he's going to be yapping. He's going to want to get traded here or there to Chicago, whatever, and maybe they'll do it. But for right now, how does it feel, LeVar Ball? Your son just got traded to New Orleans. Get out of L.A. No more LeVar Ball in L.A. Damn it. Can you just imagine the Lakers would have actually drafted De'Aaron Fox? Although they probably would have ended up having to trade Fox, right, in this trade. But still, it would have been a lot better than Lonzo Ball. Josh Hart, wouldn't really want to be you. I don't like Josh Hart as an NBA player. I liked him coming out. He doesn't shoot that well. He has a nice stroke, but I think this year he only shot field goal percentage like around 40%. 3-point was okay, like 33, but he wasn't strong there. I had problems with Josh Hart, so I'm not going to miss Josh Hart. And then in terms of the draft picks, but he'll be a nice player for the Pelicans off the bench. But he's a bench player. Please, he's a bench player. Trust me on that, and I think he's barely even that. And then in terms of the draft picks, so what's the strategy moving forward for New Orleans in terms of these draft picks? Now, we need to see what years these two additional first-round picks will be. Will it be 2020? Will it be 2021? Have you actually somehow gotten them to agree to give you 2025? Are they protected? Are they not protected? These are questions of which we need the answer to. So I won't give too much analysis when it comes to those. But in terms of the number 4 pick, do you keep it? Do you try to flip it? Now, the Chicago Bulls have had interest in Lonzo Ball. So you get on the phone with the Chicago Bulls. You say, we're going to give you Lonzo Ball and the number 4 pick for Zach LaVine. And maybe they do it, maybe they don't. I've heard that they're really considering it, that they might really do that, that they're not in love with Zach LaVine and that they'd like to move on. If you do that, though, then I don't know. Actually, if you do that, I really like your team. I really love your team with Drew Holiday back at the point. You'd have Zach LaVine, you'd have Brandon Ingram, you'd have Zion Williamson, and you'd have to find a center, insert center here, right? But you'd like that to me. I mean, I would love that nice young core in New Orleans, and I'm telling you, this Ingram-Zion combo, it's going to be a great combo. Just develop them. Now, give them some years now. I don't want to hear anyone saying nothing about these kids for another 2 to 3 years before we're saying, oh, why are they not winning anything? It's going to take a while. But I think eventually you'll look at them and they'll be a good, powerful combo of the likes of a Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. Not in terms of play style. I'm just talking about in terms of significance, in terms of being able to make the conference final. And then you're going to need another piece. Okay, and I don't know who that is, and you're going to have to find that guy. No one wants to go to New Orleans. I don't know why. Well, I know why, because it sucks. New Orleans, not the city, but the organization, definitely. So you'll definitely have to find that next guy because Ingram and Zion will not be enough to win an NBA championship. Forget about it. I love Brandon Ingram and I love Zion Williamson. Not enough, right? You're going to need to get more. I would position yourselves for after this, recent little spark here by the LA Lakers, just be waiting in the wings, trying to make the playoffs. And I think, honestly, you guys can make the playoffs next season. I think Zion's going to have that kind of impact for your basketball team. So I look out for you guys in the playoffs next year. But the West is going to be, although I still don't think there's many title contenders in the West, I think there's plenty of playoff contenders. So it's going to be very difficult to make the playoffs. I mean, you look at the Dallas Mavericks with Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis. They should be in the playoffs next season. The Lakers, I think everyone can agree now, they'll be back in the playoffs next season. The Sacramento Kings, they're getting older. They're getting more experience. They're going to want to jump into the playoffs. So a lot of teams looking to make that leap. Spurs may have to finally miss the playoffs for the first time since 1997. The Clippers will see if they get Kawhi. If they do, they're going to return to the playoffs. Who else was in the playoffs? Who was 5th seed? Rockets face Jazz. You thought Jazz. They don't want to go anywhere. So it's going to be hard to make the playoffs in the Western Conference. And maybe that's okay. Maybe you just win 33, 34 games. You get in the lottery. You get lucky again. Next year, you draft. I don't even know who the players are in next year's draft. I don't pay attention to high school recruiting anymore. But you draft some stupid center, and then boom, right? You got yourself, maybe that new center is the new Anthony Davis or something. I don't know. But I would just be a little patient, but I think you're going to see big growth from Brandon Ingram. I think you're going to see good stuff from Zion Williamson. You're going to need some shooters because Ingram is not consistent enough as a shooter yet. But, again, I like that he can play isolation, whereas Zion isn't a great isolation player right now. Right, trust me, he can score. He can definitely go in the post, definitely be a face-up guy, but he's not the guy you give it the ball at the top of the key with 2 minutes left and say, okay, win this basketball game, whereas Brandon Ingram is showing he can be that guy. So I'm excited. I'm going to be watching New Orleans. I'm still a fan of Brandon Ingram all day. I'm a Brandon Ingram stan all day to the day I die. I will not die not being a Brandon Ingram fan. Okay, I will die being a Brandon Ingram fan. Despite this trade, Josh Hart, see you wouldn't want to be a, okay? I wanted this guy to be a starting shooting guard, be a consistent shooter. He wasn't. And Lonzo Ball, look, it was a mistake to me. I don't think Lonzo Ball is going to be anything more than an average point guard in this league. Maybe a little above average, but he'll never be an all-star. Forget about it. Don't have that conversation with me. Lonzo Ball will never be an all-star point guard in this league. Maybe you look at him and you'll say he's good. But that's the best you'll ever say about Lonzo Ball. You'll never say he's great. You may say he's a great passer. You may say he's great at this or that. He'll never be a complete great player. But he has some defensive upside, and he showed that last season. And then we'll see what you do with those 2 additional first-round picks, which we don't know with yet. So, again, for the Lakers, I love it. I mean, I'm all for it. I'm telling you, look, you guys could think I'm overreacting. Fine. As long as they're healthy. And that's the question. That's the caveat. That's what we're talking about here. If they're healthy, I just don't see how Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum or Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic or James Harden and Chris Paul are going to beat these 2 grown-ass men, LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And I know it's a 3-point shooting league. I understand. I'm right there with you. I don't see it. And they still got $30 million in cap room. We're going to continue to watch this situation moving forward. Kyrie, Kemba, and if I'm Kemba Walker, this is it. This is my effing ticket, okay? I'm not going to the New York Knicks to team with Kevin Durant's Achilles a year from now. I'm going to L.A. where I can just sit back. I already got Kyle Kuzma, another scorer on my team, by the way. Forget about Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Kemba Walker could just come to L.A., average 17, maybe 16 a game. Just chill, hitting 3-pointers whenever he's open. He'll be open a lot. He'll probably win 1 or 2 NBA championships. He'll be the face, maybe not the face of the franchise, but he and Anthony Davis will definitely, both of them will be the face of the franchises when LeBron James leaves. That's my move. I think this opens the door. I think free agents, I think someone's coming. I don't know who, but I think this changes things, and I think it's going to be worth it. I do. And it might be my fandom, might be my optimism, but, I mean, come on. I just don't, I know they have no depth. I know. I just don't see. If someone can please tell me, please, Hell, Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, how they're going to beat LeBron, Anthony Davis, and they still got Kyle Kuzma who's going to give you 18 a game. I just don't see it. I just don't. So I'm going to look at some viewer comments, and then we will get out of here. But, wow, I'm happy. I'm amped up. This next year's NBA is just wide open. It's just wide open, and I'm all here for it. Jesse Lende says Lakers must get shooters around AD and LeBron. I'm right there with you. Hey, I looked at the free agency list just a little bit before this. We got JJ Redick, we got Danny Green, some other options. I'm looking at them. If they can't get a Kemba Walker or a Jimmy Butler, I'd be okay with like a Goran Dragic. I think Goran Dragic, he's hungry for a title. We'd be a little old at that point. Like we could use some younger players. I mean, Kuzma's young at least. But I mean, don't make no doubt about it. Okay, the roster is incomplete. I think Isaac Bonga would be our starting point guard if the league started today, right? So there's work to be done, but we have $30 million to do that work. I'm not sure if I should say this name. I'm not going to say the name. But someone says Kelly Olynyk and Goran Dragic. And there you go. Kelly Olynyk, a guy that plays center. And you could put Anthony Davis at the 4 and put Kelly Olynyk at the center. He'll hit three-pointers all day. Brook Lopez, I think he's now coming free agent as well. Maybe he returns to L.A. There's plenty of possibilities. They're going to have the cap room. This roster will develop over the upcoming days. But at this point, now you go veteran, right? We saw the problem last season. They had too much of a mix between young and old talent. And it really didn't work as well as we thought it should have. Now you just go old. Now you go veteran. Still have some young players in there. But now you go veteran. And now you really go all in the next 2-3 years. No Golden State. I mean, they're going to come back. But no more dynastic Golden State. You got to attack. You got to attack now. And honestly, I look out for Golden State. Maybe not next year because next year they're going to struggle making the playoffs. Really, without Klay Thompson there for most of the year and stuff. I think if Steph has to go through the whole year alone, and at least most of the year, he's going to get injured. Oh, he's going to get injured. So he's going to miss games. I'm already going to tell you that right now. Golden State's going to have a problem making the playoffs next year. I'll have them penciled in. But I'll tell you, Steph's going to get injured, and if he gets injured, if he misses significant games, they're done. Blackjack 1414 says, in my opinion, LA just made a bad deal. LeBron James getting old. No one wants to face facts on that. Yeah, it's easy to be a superstar on a trash team, but when you have another superstar who holds you accountable for your mess-ups, this is going to be a fail. We'll see, but I'm not in the business of doubting LeBron James. I know this year was quite disastrous, but, I mean, people, he led the Cavs to the NBA Finals last season barehanded. Like, it was him, and it was him. Like, Kevin Love at that point wasn't doing anything anymore, and he still just whirled the Cavs to the NBA Finals. I still think this guy's years left, and now he didn't have to play since April. He's going to be rested. He's going to be ready to go. I'm looking out for LeBron James next season. I'm not doubting LeBron James. LeBron James is just one of those people in the world you're better off not doubting, man. Trust me on that. Especially since everyone's been doubting him. Oh, man. Let's see what we got here. Amos Brundage says Clay will be back in March. Yeah. So the question is, are the Warriors in playoff contention? They probably will be in playoff contention. Are they in the playoffs when he comes back? Will they have the rhythm? I think they're going to make the playoffs, and if they do, even if they're a lowest seed, let's say they're a 6th or 7th or 8th seed, they could upset those top seeds. So I'm still looking at the Warriors as maybe still the biggest threat to the LA Lakers next season. Honestly, I really do feel that. I think the Golden State Warriors in the 6th seed against the Portland Trail Blazers after they just swept the Blazers. We just saw that on our TVs. They swept him. I think they could beat the Portland Trail Blazers. So I'm looking out. There's still work to be done. I'm just saying ultimately I just don't see how this duo is going to be defeated in the Western Conference. I really just don't see it. Bears fan 54 says if I was in charge of the Lakers, I would get some shooters like JJ Redick. I absolutely agree. Again, try for Kemba Walker first. Try for Jimmy Butler first. If you fail there, then yes, go down the road of JJ Redick because he'd be a little pricey. He's gonna command at least $10 million a year, I think. So it's gonna be a little wait before you go for guys like that. Edwin and Ruby says Pelicans won the trade. AD can't stay healthy for a full season. Lonzo, the best young 2-point guard in the league. Well, that's just absolute BS. Now this true point guard, okay, sure, but I don't know why people still want true point guards. Like, that was a big, plus and positive for Lonzo Ball coming out. He's a true point guard. Who cares? True point guards don't win anymore. First of all, they never really won. It was just good to have one next to superstars. So it was great to have a Derek Fisher, who's a true point guard, next to Kobe Bryant and Shaq. It was good to have who else was a true point guard? Like Steve Nash, what did he win? Jason Kidd, what did he win? He won finally when Dirk Nowitzki got him there. You can have your true point guard. Okay, go ahead. Have your true point guard. I'll take my Stephen Curry. I'll take my Damian Lillard. I'll take my Russell Westbrook before you get your true point guard. Go ahead. I love John Stockton. What did he win? You can have your true point guard. That's great. True point guard. He's not going to look to score or shoot. Good. This is a league where Kyrie Irving wins championships, where Stephen Curry wins championships. This is the new NBA. You can stick with that. Cool. I'll have my scoring point guards. Kid Blue RB27, what's up, Kid Blue? He says Kyrie might want to back out with Brooklyn and go to the Lakers. I mean, yeah, there's no contract signed yet. And Kyrie, look, I know you didn't love teaming up with LeBron James, but now you can team up with Anthony Davis when LeBron James leaves. You take the mantle in LA moving forward. I think you should consider that very, very, very heavily. David Ajaboye says they're going to trade Jrue Holiday for picks. I hope they do. That makes sense to me. That's what I would do. But we'll see about that. And I'll answer just one more, and then we'll get out of here. I'll answer this one. This last one. Actually, I'll answer two more. Okay, Laker fan says, in your opinion, what will be your ideal starting five for us? Okay, ideal, I want Kemba. All right, and that's still, we have money for it. Kemba Walker. I'd get Danny Green. I think Danny Green can be had for cheap. So I'll keep it relatively likely. Danny Green, LeBron, Anthony Davis, and then re-sign or try to get Brook Lopez or who could be a cheap three-point shooting center that we can get. Or maybe we just get a power forward and we put Anthony Davis at center. I'd have to look at the free agent list. I'll look at the free agent list and I'll get back to you. And I'll probably make a video on that. And then last question, Pelicans, if they keep the fourth pick, who should they get? And I'm going to get more deep into my NBA draft analysis in the upcoming days because the NBA draft is coming up. But right now, that's a good question. I would personally, it depends if you really want Lonzo Ball. Darius Garland is my number 4 overall prospect. I think he's the guy that should go number 4 in this draft, and I think there's a big difference between he and DeAndre Hunter. I think my stream is lagging right now. I'm about to end it anyway. So I would just take Garland anyway. And I'd say screw Lonzo Ball because I think Darius Garland's going to be better than Lonzo Ball. And you have Darius Garland, you'd have Jrue Holiday, you have Ingram, you'd have Zion, and you'd have insert center's name here. So there you go. I'm going to end the stream because my computer can't take it anymore. But yeah, the Lakers trade for Anthony Davis. What are your thoughts on this trade? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fed Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.